Hello and welcome back to my dental journey. I'm Jen. I'm a second-year dental student at Griffith University, and I thought I would just share a little bit about buying a sim unit. So it's quite exciting, and I thought that I would just film an intro to a little bit of a flashback of the day I actually bought my sim unit. So at Griffith, unfortunately, we don't get unlimited hours in our labs to practice. So if you want extra practice, most students will buy a sim unit that they can use at home. So I'm going to show you the sim unit and do a quick intro to Gary. So this is my sim unit head. I name the sim units so that I can practice with having a patient. So here is some footage from when I bought my sim unit. I have some exciting news. I bought a sim unit to practice at home. So unfortunately, my university doesn't allow drop-in sessions for extra practice outside of normal lab hours. So I contacted a student and picked up a sim unit so that I can practice at home. And it's quite exciting. I ended up getting an extra set of uppers and lowers for the adult model, but also a pair of pediatrics. So they're quite cute. So now I'm just switching over the teeth. We end up, here's my box of goodies. So ended up ordering a whole bunch of teeth. All of the dental students kind of have one of these. So you can see them all sorted by the type and size. So in Australia, it's the same as Canada. They use the international numbering system for teeth. So that means that our teeth are divided into 4 groups, and your upper right section is your quadrant 1, upper left quadrant 2, lower left quadrant 3, and lower right quadrant 4, and then the teeth are numbered 1 to 8. So if you wanted to see a 3-6, so that's a lower left molar. Here's the little plastic one. Yeah, so it's all organized in there. So here's my school model that I ended up buying at the beginning of the year. And now I have a practice one that I can leave at home to drill and fill on. So that's really exciting. So I'm just going to switch over because, as you can see, some of the teeth have already been kind of drilled into. So I'm going to switch those out for new ones because that's the area that we're working on currently. I've already taken the time to remove some of the screws from the back of the teeth that I'm replacing. So these ones were used by a higher year, so you can kind of see they prepped it for a crown. So if you've ever had a crown before, they take off the upper surface of the tooth and then they have a crown that's made to fit. For all of these models, they all have direction. So in your teeth, you actually have a larger side kind of towards the front, and it gets narrower as it goes towards the back. So there's actually a difference on either side of the shape of the tooth. So you can kind of see that there, that those two are the same tooth but for opposite sides. So now I'm just going to screw these in. So this is how it holds it in. There's a whole bunch of tiny little screws, and every single time a dental student drills on a tooth and then wants to work on that same tooth, they would have to do this to replace it. They're just plastic teeth. If you're ever curious to what dental students practice on before they start practicing on real people, real teeth, this is what we practice on. And the plastic is actually really fragile. So if we're doing something that involves drilling where we could hit a tooth that is beside the one we're drilling on, it will actually make a big mark. It actually makes you even more conscious. Awesome. So yeah, make sure they're all nice and tight. Don't want any loose, wiggly teeth. There you have it. They're all replaced with the new ones that we can practice drilling on. Yeah, so this is an adult model, and that's the kids model in comparison. You can see less teeth, smaller, and they are actually slightly different shape on some of them. So this is actually compare lower and lower, and upper and upper. You can see there's slightly different shapes in some of them, and definitely different in size. So we're in the living room, and you can see this is the unit. And unfortunately, it doesn't come with a slow speed handpiece, but it does come with a high speed one. So this is the handpiece, or what people would, in layman's terms, would be called a drill. It's powered by air, and there's also water that runs through it because the drill spins really, really fast and will actually burn your teeth if you don't have water to help it cool. And then this is called the triplex syringe. Tri because it has 3 functions, so you can shoot air out of one button, water out of the other, or if you do a combination, it'll do a mist. And because this is a mobile unit that you can technically move, there's a water bottle, so this is what you'd fill up with your water, and the pump on the inside there would pressurize it for us. And give it a quick wipe down, make sure everything's all in order before we start using it for the first time. So set it up with the Phantom head, which I'll show you in a bit. Phantom head is basically like a plastic head, and it has a place where you can put your tooth models in. So it serves as a patient. And I haven't figured out what to name mine yet. My one at school, I call Roger. Some of the girls at school laugh because I talk to my head like it's a person, but I think it's actually good practice to do so. Because already next year we start seeing patients in the clinic for basic procedures. In Australia, you learn how to clean teeth, which is called scaling. We are required to do scaling on patients in the clinic, but also basic drill and fills. So we have a class called operative, and it is what it sounds like, doing operative type stuff, operations, which in dentistry means that we're doing drilling and then some type of restorative work. So I just came to grab, this is my little Phantom head. Very attractive. I think it looks like a male. So we're gonna set him up and set up the unit and start drilling. Okay, so we're in my kitchen. We got Farquaad here, and he's got a nice table clamp. So I'm just going to loosen that a bit and clamp him to the table until he's nice and tight. So this is going to simulate an actual patient, so it's nice and solid. And then he's got little screws, both there and down there, and it matches with the back of the tooth models. So we have to line up the holes, which is actually not too bad, and then just give that a good old tighten. Try to make sure he's kind of lined up. Then we do the same for the upper. So this is a little bit different than the ones we have at the school, so I'm still trying to get used to this. The ones at the school are more of like a clamp type method. Yeah, and then we'll make sure that, so it's place his teeth together, and then we're just going to open up so it is as similar to a real patient as we can get. And there we go. I got it all set up down below our kitchen table. Because the drill and stuff requires water, just going to quickly pop into the kitchen, which is nice and handy over here. It's got a little suction hose, just gonna tuck it in there, and hopefully just screw it right on there, like so, which is working. Yeah. Okay, so I know that I stuck the bottom and top mouthpiece in, but I think I'm gonna actually switch to our practice drilling block. Since this is the first time I'll be using this, I should probably use the practice thing to see how this new handpiece feels before I start drilling on a tooth, because this guy has a lot of like practice, so you could drill out like the black shapes or any of the shapes that have lines, and it's really good to kind of get a feel. As for this, it's uneven, and every single time I mess up on a tooth or want to redo a tooth, I gotta buy one. So it costs a little bit of money. So we're gonna swap it out for the block for our practice. Got a bucket down below to catch some water, because that is what the last guy said he does. So we're gonna test that out. So I'm pressing on the back.
That opens the mechanism, and then we pop it in. And then we give it a yank or two, make sure that she's in there. But that's the handpiece or drill. So you can see there's a light, and then there's a couple really tiny little holes where the water comes out. Okay, so for the moment of truth, we're gonna turn it on. This guy, a little tester, right into the bucket. Looks pretty good. Right now we're just testing how much water versus air. So I'm adjusting. There you can see it's quite a bit higher versus lower. So because the drill is powered by air, I can control the maximum speed of the drill by the amount of air I let through. And then this is the triplex syringe. You can see water comes through one, air comes through the other, and if I combine the two, got a good mist going. Usually we have something in our other hand, so I'm going to practice like normal. So this is my cassette from school. So these are all of the tools that we use. This is what I want, I want the mouth mirror. We're always supposed to practice with the mouth mirror in our other hand. And this is our probe and our explorer. So perio probe and explorer. So we also like to have that one out because when you drill, you want to check how well your preparation is. So maybe we will practice on maybe one of these outside ones. Okay. Turn up the water. So this is called the high-speed drill. Has a diamond burr on it. So we want to make sure that before we start drilling that there's water, because that diamond tipped burr will just burn the plastic. It actually happened to somebody inside our sim lab. One of the main things we use the triplex for actually is just quick old dry. And in class, usually what we do is we'll measure that. So depending on what we want, see that it is close to the same depth. We're at 4 millimeters across. So test with the perio probe, which is that interesting end. We have to be a little bit more gentle, but you can feel the roughness or smoothness depending on how well you did.
So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you have any questions, just drop them down into the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I hope that you enjoyed seeing how dental students get a little bit of extra practice outside of school hours.